Hey everyone, this is Mukul and this is Swapnit. Welcome to Going Slow podcast, where we discuss our product journeys and also have casual discussions around life, universe, and everything in between.
Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 25 of Going Slow podcast. So we're on episode number 25 now, Sapna. So
Wait.
how's it going?
It's haywire, I would say. I don't know. It's going crazy. Yeah. How about you? How are things at your end?
I mean, what crazy? Like you seems a bit stressed. Like, is there a stress related to work that's bothering you?
Yeah, it's a combination. If I have to summarize things like in a very, very short way, it would be something like, let's say I have a worldview, right? Everyone has a worldview, and you do things
Mm-hmm.
according to that. And like as of now, like I feel that might not be the sustainable way for me to go about things. But at the same time, like everything is linked to everything else. So overall, like it's a very abstract thing. But like I feel like I was at a local maxima in terms of like my thinking and everything. And now if I change any particular thing, everything falls apart. And then it's like now I'm in the process of seeing what really matters, how to go about the things, and like basically like just reevaluating everything really. So it's yeah, I'm smiling now, but it's pretty much sort of an
Yeah.
existential crisis, you can say.
Yeah. I mean, can you share like what triggered that? Is it something like what made you like reevaluate that you are at local maxima or you want to change your perspectives not the best you thought like in a way that you thought it's the best but you still think that it can be improved, so how did you like figure that out?
Yeah, so like at some point I started feeling like being taken for granted and like basically just getting stretched or like yeah, squeezed from all places like work and all places. Basically I feel like somewhere I started putting others ahead of me, and I thought it was a sustainable thing. But yeah, just recently I've just sort of accepted that it's just not possible. And as soon as that acceptance hit, then I'm like, okay, then everything else, since everything was tied to it, now like I almost feel like a kid again. Like just it feels like now I'm rediscovering like or redefining boundaries to nearly like every situation. But before, like I had like set responses to every situation. I was like, okay, if someone does this or someone asks this, then like Swapnil does this, something like that. But now I'm like, no, yeah, I can do anything. So yeah, I don't know how much I'm making
Mm.
sense or not, but yeah.
Yeah, I think there is like a lot of context involved, so I'm getting like a gist of it for yeah. I mean like I feel you're at always at local maxima because when you see yourself like the for example 2020 yourself in 2020 or yourself in 2018, you'll always feel that okay, the current me is always better than the past, or you have iterated to the better position in your life and stuff. So
Agreed.
I
Another
feel it's
difference is that like I sort of felt this is the stable version. This
Mhm.
is how like
Ah,
I'll die
okay,
and stuff. And now I'm like, no,
got it.
there's still evolving left. There's still adulting left. And I was like, oh, this is a long-term evolving process. So that was like a bit hard to accept that no, this is not the final version. So I think it just feels sad knowing that okay, like this version will get left behind. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it will get left behind. It will be evolved, right? Like, yeah, I don't think you will change yourself completely or something like a version update. You will. I mean, all the things you uh, are looking forward to improve, you will improve on it. All the things you like, you will keep it and keep doing it that way. So that's all in all, I think a good way to look at things. So, are you doing something to change your habits or change your lifestyle?
So I'm not at that phase yet where I'm actively changing. Right now, I'm just trying to understand like the core. Why I'm doing something instead of some other thing. What is the core of everything? And just trying to reflect on, does that make me happy in the long term? Or is that sustainable? Basically, do I want to continue like that? And first understanding like how is that related, and then like consciously choosing if I want to continue like that, or maybe there's room for change. I'm pretty sure there's room for change, but it's like, do I want to change? Yeah, I think that's also a thing. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm just like in the middle of a bunch of things.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, I'll be curious to know how it turns out and how you change things or what kind of changes you're making in your life.
Yeah. Right now, I'm just talking to people. That is what I'm doing. I don't know, like just while talking, maybe something you say and then it hits you, and it's almost like serendipity wherein one call doesn't need to have all the answers, but yeah, you take bits and pieces of from everything and then you make an understanding out of it. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. And then yeah, the action stage comes later. Like action stage is still like that is very deterministic process wherein yeah, if you do this, this will happen and all that. I think that is there, but just reflecting and accepting that we're doing this because of this and all those things. I think that is the hardest part.
Got it. Got it. That's interesting. Is it impacting on work
Yeah, yeah,
or
definitely.
does it like is it depending on definitely?
Yeah, yeah. It's also because we can only hold so much back. So because like so since there's a team and you have sing-ups, stand-ups, etc. So the other people can see, okay, something is wrong. Of course, as a manager, I'll try to mask that because I don't want to demotivate my team. But yeah, I think somewhere it shows. So that's also like one trigger. Okay, this I don't want to like let this phase be for like months and months. I just want to figure out the core and then move ahead. So yeah, definitely it affects everything.
Interesting. So are you back at home or are you in Mumbai or Bangalore? So you found your travel place?
I would say it's still a work in progress. I was in Pondy recently, and that was a pretty cool place. I'm not sure the long term aspect
Mhm.
of it, but yeah, I was there for around 10 days, and like I think all of this started there only. I was there at the beach, and yeah, and then I went into reflecting mode, and then yeah, everything. I was just there all day.
Nice. Will be a good place for remote workers in the future, but it gets really hot sometimes. That's the only issue with that place. But other than that, that's really cool place to stay and work from. Nice,
Yeah.
relax cafes, and yeah, I think I can totally see myself working from there too.
How about
Beaches.
you? How?
Yeah, so it's been going good. We released mobile apps for our appointment booking app. So we now have iOS and Android app for appointment booking. So it just so that like previously when customers you had to see bookings, they have to log into their Shopify account and then go to Appointo app and then see the bookings. But now it's easy for them to do that. They can just download the app and connect it with their Shopify account, and that's it. Then they will be able to see all the bookings, all the appointment related things. And if you want to tweak your timings that hey, I'm not available this day and stuff, you can just do it on phone easily. So it has opened up new possibilities. So now we have rolled that out. So we are checking out on the response. We are checking out responses of people, like how is it working for them, are they open to using it or not, and then we will iterate more on it. So that's something interesting going on. Interesting happened in this week. We are starting to work on one more app in the meanwhile, just because we like the domain and of the app, like where we're building on. Once it's released, I'll be able to share more detail, like what exactly we are working on. But it's in the Shopify space, and And that is something we want to work on a little faster, but the things are getting slow because of rent apps and all the other reasons. So it's moving slowly and steadily, I would say, not like fast, like you just do it in 1 week or so, but it's moving slowly with like each day, each week. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to submit it to review by this month end. So that would be amazing. And yeah, I mean, it's a stress free time, to be honest. There's not much stress related to work as of now, so that's really good for both of us. I'm I'm in totally love with Phuket now. Phuket is amazing. There's I'm trying to keep myself
Nice.
busy with like bunch of activities here, and I did my first scuba dive here 2 weeks back, and then last week I did the course open water dive. So I'm now going deeper. So there are levels, like the fun dive is where you dive with an instructor. Then if you can take a 3-day course of open water dive, then after that you can take advanced open water. So there's difference. In fun dive you can go up to 12 meters. In open water you can go up to 18 meters. And also there are bunch of things you have to do to get into open water. So it's a bit different from fun dive for sure, like there are some extra elements added to it. And in advanced open water you can go up to 30 meters. So I'm doing advanced next week, and yeah, I'm looking forward to. I think I explored a lot of dives here in Phuket, which was really an amazing experience. So I'm just instead of like doing bunch of different activities, like I'm thinking of and I like diving, so I'm thinking of like investing more time in it and doing as many dives as possible at different spots, because there are different kinds of dives, and I have learned that you can do wreck dives, you can do night dives, and all those things. So yeah, I'm slowly building my confidence and slowly enjoying the process of going through that. So as of now, I'm doing all these things in Phuket, but I'm thinking like there are a lot of beautiful dive sites in Thailand all around different places. So I'm thinking like I should go to a place where I can stay for 2-3 days, and then I'll just dive, like dive in the morning, afternoon, and then come back, and then I'll come back to Phuket. So I'm thinking of that as of now. So let's see how it works out in next 2 weeks. But that's like before going back. That's my plan for sure. That I want to do at least few dives in a different place, because I really I want to see the difference, because there are like in Phuket, like I have dived in a bunch of different places, but it's nearby Phuket, so the water is similar, and the corals and and the sea life is somewhat similar. So I just want to see the difference if I dive in a very different place. And in Thailand, Kota, the place named Kota is very famous for scuba diving. So that's like one of my goal for this month,
Nice.
to go there for a few days,
Nice.
uh, dive for move on to this. So is the recession slowed down the hiring process, and what are you
That slowdown
looking
is
forward to, like
definitely
how are you looking
there
forward to
to
or
last
solve
year
it?
when we used to pitch to companies, they would like be all over it. Compared to now, where most companies are getting very cognizant of how they're hiring,
Mhm.
which is a good thing. It's just that compared to last year, it is down. So yeah, we have some challenges there because like even salaries are down, and let's say a company was hiring,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's a 10 people last year. At this point, they may be hiring for one or two. And what that means is to place the same number of people, we need to onboard a much higher number of companies. So yeah, that is a challenge now, definitely. But at the same time, I don't feel this will stay for long. So okay, this is August. So yeah, I feel by December this should go away. This should be like things should be going back to normal. And yeah, I think ups and downs keep coming. So this is a down we are going through. But especially I feel like tech, that's a very safe place to be in compared to all others. Like recently I've been seeing the DALI posts coming up where you just give a prompt and an art comes out, and pretty much I don't see that in tech. Of course, we have that GitHub Copilot thing, but as long as you can handle more complex decisions, so the demand is always going to be there. And yeah, right now just treat this as a market correction because salaries were like way higher during the pandemic. So yeah, it's just and companies spent way more because they had more funding, so they had to spend somewhere. So yeah, right now that is just being corrected. But yeah, at the same time, I feel it's just a temporary thing. It will go back in a few months, and I'm positive we'll ride through this small down phase. And yeah, I'm overall very bullish. I'm very positive about the market that we are in. So yeah, that
Hmm.
in that sense, I
Yeah.
have some sort of a surety, or like that is like I'm good with that thing that okay, even if worst comes to worst, nothing really happens. We can ride through this because of the market that we are in. Like worst case, we'll set up a dev shop, right? We'll do something like that. So yeah, I think in that sense, that's just something which is keeping me sane right now. But yeah, I'm just like hoping this goes by super fast.
Yeah. Yeah, totally makes sense. These are just things I think which are not in our control, and it's a phase kind of. There was a huge run where everything was going up and up and up, and now it's basically stabilizing the that, and once it gets stabilized, so it will go up again. That definitely is going to happen, and yeah, I agree. Tech space is relatively safe. Also, I think with the remote shift going, even though I think after this COVID now, the remote shift will slow down a bit. I'm not sure whether it will slow because many of the companies want employees to be back at office, but there will be companies who will be like, no, you can work remotely. And also, I feel the dollar INR thing is getting it will because for example, if a US based startup or any dollar based startup is hiring an employee in India or something, so that dollar INR difference I think makes up the huge salary amount for sure. So I think that these are the positive signs definitely in the market, and it will definitely be growing a lot. It's interesting. Like I sometimes I feel how many you mention about the Dali thing, right? It's interesting to me like how things which we think are uh, skills now, or not skills, I would say very important skills which we cannot live without, gets redundant in the
Right.
future. So for example, in the history, like if we go hundreds of years back when there was no camera, people used to have painters paint their portraits and everything, and then come camera and boom, the whole artist industry then collapsed a bit just because there are cameras now. It's easy, it's faster and stuff. When few more years back, the reading was a privileged activity because there was no printer, and once printer comes into play, it's now normal. Everybody could read, everybody could do all things. And things like, for
Mhm.
example, if you go few years back,
Yeah.
a few more years back, so in a different way you will see that there used to be kings and there used to be entertainers. So entertainers were like entertainers did not have this status they have right now. They were different. They used to be perform in court and perform in different places and all those things. But now the shift has been the shift due to current things, VR and the technology and the internet. Now entertainers have higher status than they ever had. Like it's amazing, but it's different from the 300 years ago where they used to perform in different places. Now they are ultra rich, ultra wealthy people who likes to perform, and the shift basically, it's really cool to see. So I'm really interested to see what will happen in like next 10-20 years, like where the whole shift will happen. For example, before internet area, there used to be a lot of paperwork, a lot of manual labor, a lot of people sitting here and stuff. So now that's gone. So yeah, so it's interesting, like how the rate at which we are automating things, it's really insane. And what will happen if you automate everything? Like for example, when I was in Spain and Portugal, when you go to fill gas in your vehicle, you have the whole process is automated. You have to do it on your own. So there are no people sitting outside of ATM. There are no people sitting in the petrol pump filling your gas or something. So those jobs are gone. There's no manual labor there. So the rate
Yeah.
at which jobs are getting cut, it's
Yeah,
interesting
but
to like
manual jobs are getting automated. Like at the
things.
bottommost level, anything that requires thinking, that is still up to us. And I feel like that is our leverage, or that is the USP of us as well. That is like we are knowledge workers now. We we cannot associate ourselves with tools anymore because, like you said, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, we might be working with very different things. But let's say Dali, right? The prompts is something that still you have to give. The output that
Yeah.
comes from that, you still have to select what works best in your context. And like we say, right, the designers have taste. So that taste is still like the eye for it is still something that you need to define. So yeah, it's just that the bottommost things which can be automated, like similar for no code, low code, right? The building blocks, let's say you have to have a website wherein you need to have membership, you need to have login sign up options, and then a dashboard. So there are tools which help you do that. But the core of a business, which is finding the target segment, finding the pain point, and coming up with the solution and providing it at a price which makes it a win-win for everyone. I think that is still something that cannot be automated. I don't feel it can be automated because if that is automated, then we'll just like accelerate very fast into like 100% optimization of everything. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's so you're thinking in a way whether things are feasible or not. I'm just saying, like, what if things are feasible? Like, what if it's possible? And I'm not saying if it's possible or not, or if it's actually will happen or not. Just hypothetically, in a scenario where it does get feasible, then there are a lot of things which will be automatically removed from the system. Like, there will not be a lot of jobs for sure. And it's an interesting, I feel like, the thought process in a way that what will you what, and I feel like in that scenario only, like, believe like in that scenario the creative processes or people who do creative things will have a slight edge, because that's somewhat bit different, right? Like that has a unique touch. For example, if you sell leather jacket made out of machine, and if you sell handmade leather jacket, the handmade leather jacket will have a higher price. So it's like authenticity and all this thing. So I think that it will have, there will all, I don't think there are always like job cuts and stuff. It's always job migration. So yeah, even though like when computer era came in and it removed a lot of people, but it gave power to a lot of new people too. So
So
they're
again, back
super
the
excited how
manufacturing
it will
production
happen
we
next
had,
for
that
the
was
5 10
mostly a
years
manual process, and it would be everyone would add their touches to it. It would be a very authentic thing with their different personal touches. And then we went to globalization, standardization of things, mass scale production, so that we have cost savings there. We pushed all the production plants to China and India and got cost savings.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we lost the variety of things. We made things standard. And now we're saying we'll go back to the authenticity. That will again a cycle of sorts.
100%, 100%. I think I read about some company who is selling like Nokia type phones, in this era where you can just pick up calls and stuff, and I'm like, interesting.
Right.
So it's a good niche for sure, because there are people who just want to pick up calls and that's it. They don't want to do anything else. So yeah, it will be interesting for sure. And because there are always niches and always communities who wants either one thing and stuff, and mass production of food and other things has already enabled for the, like, I mean, if I see 400 years back, people used to die from fever or famine or something similar. Now it's not at all that case. I'm fat. I'm over. So that's like, in terms of seeing, in terms of history, it's a luxury. So yeah, I think things will. I mean, people say, like, when it's out of different contexts for sure from what we're discussing. But when people say like these are the dark times and things are not looking good for the future and stuff, but I always feel,
Definitely.
I mean, there are still some bad points and stuff, but we are still at the
For
best
sure.
phase,
Right. Not
and it is still
about
going to
this.
get better.
Cool,
Better.
folks. So that's all for today. If you liked it, our handle
We'll call
is Going
this
Slow
not fun.
Pod. And yeah, see you next time. Until then, stay curious and don't forget to have fun.